What state of reopening were you in? You have multiple locations, different concepts in Atlanta. And what is happening in those neighborhoods as you've observed on the ground?
Yeah, so we took a little bit of extra time while we kind of put together our strategy for reopening. And it was actually our reopening weekend this past weekend for two of our restaurant concepts. And then the rest of the restaurants are coming online this week. So as you can imagine, a challenging weekend to relaunch the restaurants.
Challenging weekend, but anything that would derail those plans, or what's your perception of customer response and any physical damage?
Absolutely. So, we took our time because, we surveyed our customers and really it was very clear that most people were not ready to dine in restaurants again. And so, we really felt as though June 1st, this was the time that people were going to start feeling more comfortable dining in restaurants again. And we're starting to see that. So some of the business is coming back, but it definitely is anemic compared to where we were before. Takeout sales have been, pretty strong. Then you add the riots on top of that, and people, are truly afraid to go out of their houses, especially in certain neighborhoods. We're in the Buckhead neighborhood where there was a significant amount of damage, and that's been, challenging for that neighborhood for sure.
The restaurants that you did open this weekend, were they, did it seem as if customer response was affected by what was going on in the streets, or can you gauge what reopening demand looks like from those?
Certainly. For Friday night, demand was very strong, and we felt like the business was starting to come back. Then the curfew was issued, and then Saturday, similar situation where there was, obviously the civil unrest, and so business eventually just evaporated.
Some testimonials from restaurateurs. There's one in Business Week this morning about one in Seattle who are not only trying to reopen, but are physically redesigning their space for a post-COVID era. I wonder, are you at a point where you can start to make longer-term decisions like that, reimagining the interior that you once had?
Absolutely. I think that the entire crisis has forced us to adapt extremely quickly. And those that survive this crisis are not going to be the biggest or the most well capitalized. It's going to be the people that are going to be able to move fastest and be able to design their business for this new era. And so one of the things that we've really looked at is how do our businesses look, in a social distancing environment? Can we design e-commerce solutions and different things that we can sell online that will use our physical space to bring in some dollars that can, afford to pay our staff and ultimately make us a sustainable business once again?
Yeah, we keep asking restaurateurs this question because our thinking is probably you got into the business because you wanted to host people, right? It's hospitality. You want to show people a good time. And now the model is so much more about managing risks, biohazards, people's temperature, getting their medical histories. Are you in it? Has the game changed so much that it's no longer the business you fell in love with? Clearly, that hasn't happened to you.
No, because, for me, I love how challenging this business is. And it was challenging before COVID-19. Margins are tough. Labor model, everything about the business is challenging. You have to be creative. You have to love people and want to serve people. But at the end of the day, it challenges me on every level. And this has pushed that to the extreme. And so what I love about this business is that it is hard. And there's a lot of other things I could have chosen as a career, but I love to do this because of how challenging it is and how fun it is. And, ultimately, we just have to adapt, and we have to have a positive attitude and be optimistic and do our best to survive and ultimately thrive in the future.